Now, hear me out, but this episode of Robyn Hood wasn't all that bad. Maybe it was because they had more of a focus on the supposed villains of the show, or maybe it was because something actually happened in this episode. And for the most part, it actually made sense. People behaved in a believable way. The episode opens with a shot of Axe infinitely fresh. Next up is John Prince entertaining his evil rich friends.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal?
He appears to be hanging out with Farmer Bro and Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson is keeping the hood off the TV, and Farmer Bro is offering shares in their company to fund an experimental drug. Chet is bored, so his dad asks him to play something on the harpsichord to show that the money he spent on education wasn't wasted. He plays a Hood song, of course, but it's really hard to pick the tune because the songs on this show are so tuneless.
Mozart?
So there's insider trading, pharmaceutical dependence, and media manipulation as the boogeymen of this episode. Way to just put it out there. Up next, the cringe new single from The Hood. They love weird, repetitive beats. This one sounds like a synthesized steel drum. The sheriff and the mayor are discussing how the mayor is more of a Wu-Tang Clan girl. She must be good at running the city's finances then.
You need to diversify your bonds.
The missing drones are costing the city hundreds of thousands of dollars. Wouldn't a corrupt city not care how much they spend on their police? The sheriff and John are having lunch and she tells him how there was a girl who would steal her food, so she put rat poison in her gravy and killed her. Wow, mistreated by the nuns and by her fellow orphans. She was a child that was put in a life or death situation. She had to do something. The nuns weren't going to help. She's getting more and more sympathetic. And she looks much better with her hair down. So her idea is to turn the towers against the Hood by taking away vital infrastructure. Their plan is to make medicine super expensive for anyone who lives in Sherwood Towers. I'm not sure how they can get people to associate the price increase with the Hood and not with greedy pharmaceutical companies, but whatever. Mum's arc in this episode is turning around on her disdain for the Hood. She thinks they're arrogant. For some reason, people are loitering around the pharmacy instead of inside. Turns out they can't afford their meds. Uh-oh. The pharmacist comes out and puts up the cheapest A4 printout that would be destroyed in seconds by an irate customer. Prices are going up due to criminal activity. Wouldn't people pin that on Guy of Gisborne? He was forcing the pharmacy to give him money last episode. Straight away, another ad for Axe Infinitely Fresh. So Farmer Bro appears on Tucker Carlson's show and blames the Hood for threatening the safety of his drivers. The community wants to hand the Hood over, but Tracy won't let them. There's still some good journalists out there, but if good journalists allow bad journalists to prosper, doesn't that make them bad journalists too? Mum's getting faked. Oh no, her meds are running out too. Looks like the Hood won't get to be altruistic this episode. At least they remembered that LJ is a medic and he actually helps. Prince and Chet arrive at Thanasia, the drug company that's owned by Farmer Bro. He's siphoning the blood from young nubile athletes. Chet wants a piece of that too, you old horn dog. Farmer Bro details their latest experiment and Prince says to Chet, this is what ambition sounds like. Chet makes a joke about them wanting some time alone to make out. Another gay joke from Robyn Hood. They're making drugs 1,000 times better than LSD. So Prince wants in for 1 million shares at $15 each. That's some walking around money. There are some side effects. My issue is, who's the market here? Recreational drug users? Is that wise? You're trying to get rid of the crackheads, not make more. As they leave, a courier just happens to be delivering mail. Who could it be now? Oh, luckily they show Robyn with her helmet that she's never worn before, sitting on the table in front of her. Thanks, show. LJ goes to tell Robyn how he feels, but he chickens out. Tuck appears with a printout of the Thanasia building. Did we miss a scene where they decide they're going to need to get inside? So because Prince has shares in Thanasia, now it's a valid target for a break and enter? Tuck needs a mobile hotspot, so Much will make one. I thought Tuck was the IT guru. Isn't Much a mechanic? The sheriff is watching her calories, so she must hate body positive folk. She even has an Axe Infinitely Fresh calendar on her desk. She gives Officer Redcap a dressing down, and then they undress. This is such a weird scene, and this is a massive abuse of power. Plus, they didn't even lock the door. Redcap is now assigned to follow the sheriff. Because Danacia makes their pallets up for each shop, they need to know what the pallet for their pharmacist would contain. So finally, they just get Alan to do the social engineering. He asks the pharmacist how much money they need to raise, but instead, she writes out a list of all the meds. I hope there's no warp cream on that list. At least stuff that's not for your hands. Much is making the hotspot and Tuck comes in and gives her some unwanted advice. He mansplains. He also hacked her school records. What are you doing, man? Much says she got in trouble at school for making a stereo that the cops thought was a bomb. Are you sure it wasn't a clock? But this is why Tuck is the best character. He mans up and says he was wrong and apologises. Well done. Much is making breathing apparatus to allow the gang to breathe if the fire suppression system is activated. No wonder the cops were called for a stereo if that's what her breathing apparatus looks like. It looks like a pipe. So they show Much making the hotspot, which is just a mini PC. They show her having made the breathing apparatus. But once they stow away in the Thanacia delivery truck, it's revealed that she also has a device to clone a truck fob. Does this truck have keyless starting? They're lucky that the driver backs up to the loading dock and opens the back door. If he didn't, they would have had to escape and return another day. There's been no research on schedules or operational practices. They just walk around the complex in their animal masks. Why not get some business clothes and try to blend in? Clone an ID tag. So of course they get sprung. Thankfully the security guard was smart enough to set off the alarm and the police have been alerted. Bad timing for the sheriff and Redcap, who were knocking boots. Robyn hides among an intake of clinical trial participants just as they are getting chained. The guard is no more than 10 meters behind her, yet she has time to get changed into the conveniently available extra surgical gown. But bad timing strikes again, and she has to let the researcher apply the experimental drug patch, of which she luckily has an extra. The numbers of the participants are out of order. Robyn is 23, the girl next to her is 24, and the next girl is 22. Derp. Robyn escapes, but she's already ingested too much of the stickiest of the icky. She's dripping balls, man. Tuck, who's had two-way communication with Robyn, never once asks where she's going or what she's doing. Once she was found out, it should have been abort and LJ create a distraction. Thankfully, we tear ourselves away from the thrilling action to see a hilarious exchange between Alan and Much. He brought snacks! Much wants Alan's nuts in her mouth. That really activates my almonds. Oh no, the cops are here. But even through a drug-induced haze, Robyn manages to complete her objective flawlessly, without a single security guard or even staff member finding her. The cabinet she's installing the hotspot to is clearly a tape player. Look at that flywheel. Luckily there's no intrusion alarm. Also lucky that the cops didn't block the exits and close the gate. Even though the sheriff radios for men on every exit, no one in, no one out.
I want men on every exit, no one in, no one out.
Even while they're on lockdown for an intruder, Tuck can still get a staff member to load a truck. Robyn manages to find her way back to LJ in her stupor, yet doesn't have enough sense to keep her yap shut. Sheriff and Redcap yell at them to freeze, but LJ has asked Tuck to set off the fire system like they planned. So do all the people in the experiments die? Robyn's hallucinating her mum cutting some bloody meat and saying, "The storm's coming," and "You're not ready." Are we adding clairvoyant visions to the unbelievable elements of this show? The series must really be hotting up. Robyn says she's ready. She'll win. Mum says, "That's why you'll lose." Then Redcap tells her to stop. It makes no sense. But at least Mum's up and about. They put their masks on a pallet jack, and the sheriff and Redcap just open fire on them. LJ and Robyn make it to the truck and the cops let them drive away, even saying the suspects got away as they drive. LJ decides now is a good time to take advantage of the situation and starts smooching Robyn. Bro, she's out of it. They drop the pallet on the street, where anyone could grab it, but luckily the pharmacist arrives just in time. What, was she on her lunch break? Or does Thanacia conduct drug trials at 5 AM? Everyone's like, yay, the Hood got us our meds. Okay, but what about next month? The cookie jar is on full display. Mum says that the Hood just cleaned up their own mess. She also says that until she can work again, they can't make rent. Well, there's the next heist idea, paying your own rent. Tuck also grabs some files from Thanasia. Some unethical trials, says the man stealing files. He says he sent it to Spencer Larson, who is on TV now, and they should watch it. Did he just send the incriminating evidence to the guy who is helping to cover all this stuff up? Farmer Bro is begging Prince for more cash. At this rate, Prince will own the company. Nice poster of the boar hunt on the wall there. Shame it's not the original, it's cropped. Chet wants some of those drugs. Classic Chet.
Hey, Milt, you need cash. How much for some of that toad juice? Come on, help me out, bro. Help me out.
The sheriff says that the masks can be bought anywhere. No DNA, no prints. Wouldn't there be DNA on the drug patch and the surgical gown Robyn wore? Let alone inside the mask. Surely a hair came off. Prince hopes that at least she'll tell him Tracy died of blood clots. Wow, brutal. Sheriff says their loyalty to Sherwood will be their liability. I guess it's time to raise the stakes. I'm giving this episode a 7 out of 10. It actually had some stakes. The actions were for the most part believable. If only the sheriff's department was less incompetent. Are they a threat or not? Also, if we could avoid the black person right, other races wrong trope that has pervaded these episodes, we may be able to avoid predicting how scenarios will play out based purely on race. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please consider subscribing. I release reviews occasionally when time allows, and a thumbs up would be a big motivator for further reviews. If you didn't like it, feel free to leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can improve in the comments below. Anyway, I'm Mixie, thanks for your time, and have a good one.